National Weather Service forecast for Orlando and surrounding communities. Today, considerable high cloudiness, highs in the mid-70s, north wind 10 to 15 miles per hour, becoming northeast in the afternoon. Tonight, partly cloudy, lows in the upper 50s, north wind around 5 miles per hour. Friday, sunny, highs in the lower 80s, north wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Friday night, mostly clear, lows in the upper 50s, north wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Saturday, mostly sunny, highs around 80, northeast wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Saturday night, mostly clear, lows in the upper 50s. Sunday, mostly sunny, highs in the upper 70s. Sunday night, mostly clear, lows in the lower 60s. Monday, partly sunny, highs in the lower 80s. Florida's Atlantic coastal waters forecast from the Volusia-Brevard County line south to Sebastian Inlet out to 20 nautical miles. Today, northeast wind 10 to 15 knots, seas 3 to 4 feet with a dominant period 6 seconds. Intercoastal waters a moderate chop. Tonight, northeast wind 10 to 15 knots, seas 3 to 4 feet with a dominant period 4 seconds. Intercoastal waters a light chop. Friday, north wind 10 to 15 knots, seas 3 to 4 feet with a dominant period 5 seconds. Intercoastal waters a moderate chop. Friday night, northeast wind 10 to 15 knots, seas 3 to 4 feet. Intercoastal waters a light chop. Saturday, northeast wind 10 to 15 knots, seas 3 to 5 feet. Intercoastal waters a moderate chop. Saturday night, northeast wind 10 to 15 knots, seas 3 to 5 feet. Sunday, northeast wind 10 knots, seas 3 to 4 feet. From the Volusia-Brevard County line south to Sebastian Inlet, from 20 to 60 nautical miles offshore. Small craft should exercise caution. Today, northeast wind 15 knots, seas 4 to 5 feet with a dominant period 6 seconds. Tonight, northeast wind 10 to 15 knots, seas 3 to 4 feet with a dominant period 6 seconds. Friday, north wind 15 knots, seas 3 to 5 feet with a dominant period 6 seconds. Friday night, northeast wind 15 knots, seas 4 to 5 feet. Saturday, northeast wind 15 knots, seas 4 to 5 feet. Saturday night, north wind 10 to 15 knots, seas 4 to 5 feet. And Sunday, northeast wind 10 to 15 knots, seas 4 feet. The latest available surf temperatures at Daytona Beach, 78 degrees, Cocoa Beach Fishing Pier, 83, Fort Pierce, 80. Gulf Stream hazards, north wind 15 knots with choppy short period seas of around 5 feet. The approximate location of the west wall of the Gulf Stream is not available. Tide information for East Central Florida. Daytona Beach Shores, Sunglow Pier, high tide Thursday at 12:13 p.m. Low tide Thursday at 6:35 p.m. High tide Friday at 12:35 a.m. Low tide Friday 6:39 a.m. At Port Canaveral, high tide Thursday at 12:07 p.m. Low tide Thursday 6:38 p.m. High tide Friday at 12:26 a.m. and low tide Friday at 6:30 a.m. At Sebastian Inlet Bridge, high tide Thursday at 12:09 p.m. Low tide Thursday at 6:25 p.m. High tide Friday at 12:18 a.m. and low tide Friday at 6:42 a.m. And for Fort Pierce Inlet, South Jetty, high tide Thursday at 12:26 p.m. Low tide Thursday 6:31 p.m. High tide Friday 12:35 a.m. and low tide Friday at 6:48 a.m. Short-term forecast for East Central Florida. A cold front over southernmost Florida passed overhead late Wednesday. Dry and pleasantly mild conditions will occur during the day. A considerable blanket of high-level cloudiness will continue during much of the day, and temperatures will only rise into the 70s by mid-afternoon. Expect breezy conditions along the coast and beaches with gusts around 20 miles per hour at times. NOAA weather radio station KIH63, transmitting on a frequency of 162.475 megahertz from Orlando. The hazardous weather outlook for East Central Florida. Day 1, today and tonight. Wind and sea impact. Northerly winds of near 15 knots this morning will produce steep and choppy short period seas up to around 5 feet in the Gulf Stream waters. Small craft venturing well offshore should exercise caution. Days 2 through 7, Friday through Wednesday. Mariners should be aware that seas in the Gulf Stream will remain choppy from Friday into this weekend. Spotter information statement. Spotter activation will not be needed today.